Ever notice how men over 50 spend a lot of mental energy comparing themselves to younger men? He looks at guys in their 30s or 40s and he sees what he's not anymore. He sees the energy they have. He sees how women respond to them. He sees their body, their career momentum, their relevance. And suddenly, he feels invisible, irrelevant, washed up. But here's what's actually happening. He's comparing his insides to their outsides. He's comparing his real experience to an imagined version of their experience. And that comparison is destroying his confidence. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through why comparing yourself to younger men is toxic, what's really happening when you do it, and, most importantly, what you need to understand about your actual value at this stage of life. The first thing to understand is that younger men have advantages that are temporary. Physical energy, physical attractiveness in the traditional sense, upward career momentum, fewer health issues, the ability to stay out late without consequences. But here's what matters. Those advantages disappear, every single one of them. That 35-year-old guy who looks so good now, in 20 years he's going to be 55 and dealing with the same aging process you are. So comparing yourself to his temporary advantages makes no sense. You're comparing a permanent version of yourself to a temporary version of him. The second thing is that you're not seeing his reality. You see that he got the attractive woman. You don't see that she's probably going to leave him in 5 years because he doesn't have depth. You see that he has career momentum. You don't see that he's working 80-hour weeks and sacrificing everything else. You see his physical attractiveness. You don't see that he's insecure about it and worried about losing it. Every version of someone else that you see is a snapshot. It's not the whole story. The third thing is that younger men are operating from different insecurities than you are. A 35-year-old man is insecure about whether he's accomplished enough, whether he's established enough, whether he's proving himself. He's still in the proving phase. A 55-year-old man who's already proven himself has moved past that, but instead he's often dealing with existential questions about whether his life mattered. The insecurities are different. The younger man isn't dealing with what you're dealing with, and you're not dealing with what he's dealing with. The fourth thing is that women at different ages want different things. The 25-year-old woman might be attracted to the 35-year-old guy's energy and trajectory, but the 45 or 50-year-old woman, she's looking for something completely different. She's looking for stability. She's looking for depth. She's looking for a man who knows who he is. She's looking for wisdom and groundedness. And that's where you have the advantage over the younger guy. That's where your age becomes an asset instead of a liability. The fifth thing is that comparison itself is a form of self-destruction. Research on social comparison shows that comparing yourself to others, especially in areas where you feel threatened, directly decreases self-esteem and increases depression. So every time you compare yourself to a younger man and come up short, you're literally damaging your own mental health. You're training your brain to see yourself as less valuable. And that's a choice. It's a habit, and habits can be broken. Here's what I want you to understand about your actual value at 50 or 60 or 70, and I mean really understand it, not just intellectually agree with it. You have wisdom that younger men literally cannot have. You've lived. You've made real mistakes with real consequences. You've learned. You've recovered. You know yourself in ways a younger man simply hasn't had time to know himself. A 35-year-old man is still figuring out who he is. A 55-year-old man who's done any internal work knows exactly who he is. That's a fundamental difference. You've dealt with loss that he hasn't dealt with yet. You've navigated difficult situations. You've seen how your choices play out over time. You've watched other people's choices play out over time. You understand consequences in a way he doesn't. You have stability. You're not climbing the ladder anymore. You're not trying to prove anything. You're solid. You have authenticity. A younger man often still has a performance going on. He's still trying to be what he thinks he should be. But at 50, a lot of that performance can drop away. You can just be you. You have presence. A younger man is often distracted by what's next, the next goal, the next achievement, the next conquest. But a man at 50 who's done with that can be fully present. And presence is attractive. Authenticity is attractive. Wisdom is attractive. The younger guy has physical energy, but you have something more valuable. You have yourself, the accumulated experience of 50 years of living. And there are women who value that more than energy. The problem is that you don't believe it. You don't believe that your age is an asset, so you compare yourself to younger men and you feel like you're losing. But you're not losing. You're playing a different game, and you're actually winning at your game. You're just not recognizing it. Here's something else. When you're comparing yourself to younger men, you're playing a game you can't win. It's like comparing apples to oranges and then getting mad that the oranges are more orange. Of course he has more physical energy. Of course he looks younger. Of course he hasn't accumulated the physical toll of 50 years. That's not a fair comparison. That's you comparing a temporary advantage he has to a permanent reality. But what you have that he doesn't, wisdom, presence, depth, authenticity, stability, those are things that actually improve with age. They're the opposite of his temporary advantages. So instead of competing on his playing field, understand that you're on a different playing field now, and you're actually winning on yours. The men over 50 who feel most confident, who feel most attractive, who end up in the best relationships, they're the ones who've made peace with their age. They've stopped comparing. They've started appreciating what age has actually given them. Because age gives you something very valuable. It gives you freedom. Freedom from trying to be someone you're not. Freedom to be exactly who you actually are. And that freedom is attractive in a way that physical energy never will be. Comment if you catch yourself comparing yourself to younger men. Comment if you're struggling with feeling less than because of your age. Comment if you're starting to see your age as an asset instead of a liability. Comment if you're tired of the comparison game. I read every comment, and if this helped you stop the comparison trap and start appreciating what you actually have, I'd appreciate it if you'd like this video and subscribe. It helps more men understand that comparing yourself to younger men is a losing game, and you don't have to play it. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.